As the blood moon hovered in the night sky, Chase, ears flopping in the wind, drove as fast as he could to reach the destination. Sky was quiet in the back, a lot of things going through her mind. "This night is a complete nightmare," she said aloud. "I keep hoping and hoping that I'll wake up and all this will be back at the lookout, and that Rubble will be with us." Although Chase had said that he wanted to talk to her about something he couldn't bring himself to, too many thoughts were running through his mind as well. Would Ryder be okay? Would the others be safe? Would he able to save anyone at all? And most importantly, would he be able to protect Sky? He was working up the courage to say something until Sky continued. "And I can't help but wonder which one of us will be next." Her last statement really hit Chase hard. He didn't know how to respond to that. Could he hardly assure that everything will be all right? "Sky, the thought of losing you," he swallowed, "scares me. That's not to say that I didn't care about the others, but I really care about you, Sky." "Aw, Chase, that is so sweet. I care about you too," replied Sky, completely obvious of what he really meant. Chase huffled, continuing to focus on the road. "Sky, I wanted to talk to you about... I really care about you. Chase, you said that already." "I know, but I care about you more than myself. Completely." Sky was now finally starting to get a picture of what he was saying. Chase's face was flash red. And he took a deep breath and continued. "Sky, you see, I've been thinking about you every day, and I worry myself to death whenever you're in trouble or something. And I try to process things to you lately because I kept your old bathing cap just because it smells like you, but you know what? Ignore the last part. Just don't worry about it, okay? Look, the best part of my days are the times we get to hang out. I love when we play Papa Boogie together. I love when we go on a missions, you and me, and you pair up. I love your smiles and laughs and the way you do flips. I love everything about you, Sky." Chase finished, out of breath as Mr. Porter's house came into view. Sky sat there, a little dumbfounded. "Because I love you," Chase said as he gained his breath back. Chase's last statement caused Sky's eyes to shoot open as memories come flooding back to her.
Poor Sky! I can't watch! Flying! You did it, Sky! I was so worried! Excellent flying!
Playing the old Pup Boogie. You want to try too?
Alright, let's boogie!
I have a trick. When I learn a step for the first time, I say boogie out loud. Like this. Front paw front, back paw side.
I'm getting it!
Get ready to sit up and tailspin!
I need a water break!
Inside each cage are yummy, crunchy treats. Ready, Chase?
Chase, is that Sky's bathing cap? Huh? No. Be right back. Chase is on the cake!
Wiggle line and go through.
Those memories caused realization to set on Sky. Chase, she thought, at a loss of words. In her mind, she had never really thought or considered anyone on her team to be more than just a friend. But for some reason, Chase confessing those feelings for her made her feel something towards him. Chase nervously waited for her to say something. Anything instant, he was greeted by a tight hug from behind him. Sky embraced him tightly. Small drops of tears hanging onto her eyes. Chase's cheeks burst with red color again, but he quickly relaxed himself. Sky ended the embrace as the two pulled into Mr. Porter's yard and stared at the house before them. For strange reasons, many crows were pitched atop the house. The birds seemed to watch the two as they slowly stepped out of the cruiser. As the two pups looked from the outside, they couldn't help but notice that no lights were on in the inside. I don't think this is a good sign. I'll see what I can look up for. Heat vision goggles. Chase commanded as a green visor on his spy helmet dropped down over his eyes. He scanned the house for any heat signatures that he could find. There, he said, as he came across the two within the house. Sky, you should stay out here. You'll be safer outside. Sky was about to argue, but decided against it, even though he didn't want her to go in the house with him. She didn't want him to go in alone. But Chase, what about you? She said. Don't worry about me, he said with a serious expression. I'll protect you, I promise. He turned to walk off, but was stopped by Sky. He turned to face her only to be met by a kiss. As Sky pulled away, Chase had a dazed expression with cheeks so red that one would think the pup had a high fever. Sky wanted to giggle at this, but didn't because of the seriousness of the situation. Be careful, Chase, she said to him, snapping him out of his heavenly moment. Chase furiously shook his head. Coming back to reality, he looked up to Sky and smiled sweetly and nodded. I will. He walked up to the house door and stood on his hind legs as he turned the knob. It's unlocked? As he opened the door, all that light ahead of him was darkness. Night vision goggles activated.
Katie slowly walked down the dark hallway. She couldn't figure out what in the world Rubble would be doing in her house this late at night, and why he and Callie wanted to surprise her. None of this made sense to her at all. I must still be dreaming, she thought to herself as she felt her way through the pitch-black hallway. Rubble, can you or Callie at least turn on the light? No answer was heard. Rubble? She called out to the voice again. Still no answer was heard. Katie huffed and continued to feel her way through the dark until the walls expanded and she was unknowingly in the center of a spacious room. She continued to walk until she bumped her head into something hanging from the ceiling and slipped and fell to the floor. What in the world? She asked while rubbing her behind. What did I slip in? It's so wet. She fell all over her now-drenched pajamas. She began to smell something strange. Rubble, are you still there? Can you turn on the lights? Katie asked. In response, a few seconds later, a dim light had flicked on. Katie's eyes grew wide as she stared at her PJs covered in a dark red substance. Is this? She looked to the floor and saw that what she had slipped in was a puddle of the red substance. Her breathing started to become shallow seconds before a drop of the red substance fell from above her. She slowly looked up. Hovering above her was Callie, hanging from the chandelier by a worn-out leash tied around her neck. Her eyes were wide open, and she was missing the lower half of her body. No, Callie! She wept. She didn't know how or why this happened, but she just wept. Katie, you're next, said the voice as its pitch deepened with the last word. Katie didn't know what else to do except run. She made a dash for the front door and tried to exit. The knob wouldn't budge. Help! Somebody! She desperately began to pound on the door with her hands and fists. From a shadowy corner, the silhouette of a bulldog began to walk forward and changed shape into a pirate wielding a sharp hook. Katie screamed and banged louder as he began to close in on her. He raised his bloody hook. A green recycling truck crashed through the wall and windows, screeching on brakes as it pulled up by Katie. Rocky looked up from his now scuffed and heavily dented truck to see the pirate picking himself off of the floor a few feet away. He studied the features of the scurvy man and especially noted the red, pupilless eye and bloody hook and beard. Rocky's eyes widened in shock. Is that Bloodbeard? He asked as courage began to fade away. He looked towards the ceiling to see the horrible sight of Callie dangling. No, he uttered out. Callie, I was too late to save them both, he thought to himself, trying to blink back the tears that were forming. Snapping out of his trance, he turned towards Katie. Katie, hop on! The blonde didn't waste a second as she stepped onto the arms of the recycling truck and climbed up to Rocky's seat, crouching behind it. Rocky hit the gas and swung the truck around in a U-turn, heading out of the same entrance that he had made. Katie looked behind her to see if they were being followed by the ghost pirate. Fortunately, there wasn't a trace of him behind them. As Katie stared at her house shrinking in the distance, she faced forward, covering her eyes in tears. Rocky, Callie, she was... Katie cut herself off as she cried. Why? Rocky couldn't bear to see her cry. He knew the feeling of losing someone all too well. He knew there was nothing he could say to make her feel better. He tapped his pup tag. Guys, I have Katie with me. I was able to save her, Rocky said, speaking through his tag in a shaky voice. Chase exhaled in relief as he stopped walking through the dark house for a moment.
That's great news. How are Katie and Callie?
He asked. Rocky hesitated as he lowered his head in shame. I only have Katie with me, he answered.
So, where's Callie?
Sky asked, curious. There was a moment of silence before the other four pups could hear Katie's now loud cries. They were able to place the pieces together.
Has any pup else found one of the others?
Asked Zuma.
Me and Marshall still haven't reached Cabin Tubbets yet. Me and Sky are at the porters now. I'm searching for 2 heat signatures as we speak.
Answered Chase.
And no one's heard word heard from Ryder yet?
asked Marshall. The others were all silent for a second.
No.
Responded Chase. I'm going to head back to the lookout to check on
No.
Rocky was cut off by Chase.
You need to get Katie out of town. You don't know what you'll find there,
said the shepherd. Chase. Rocky looked horrified.
I'm sorry, Rocky. But it's just as I said earlier. We have to complete the mission.
A tear could be spotted rolling down from his night vision goggles.
The longer Katie is in town, the longer she could be in danger.
I understand, replied Rocky. I'll take Katie to Foggy. Ah! Rocky jerked his steering wheel as he swerved out of the way of the pirate who had appeared right in front of him. Katie screamed.
Rocky, what's going on?
Chase called over the speaker. The ghost pirate found us, he replied back. Seconds passed, and there was no response back to Rocky from the other end. Chase? Still no response was heard. Sky? Zuma? Marshall? He looked down at his pup tab for a second to see that it was no longer lit. He furiously tapped it to try and get it to activate, but it was no use. Why? Why is this happening? He yelled as he slammed his paw on the dashboard of his truck. Rocky? Rocky, answer me! Chase yelled through his pup tag. The only response he received was a few seconds of eerie, heavy breathing before it stopped. Rocky! Come on, dude, answer us! Are you alright? The other three called out to the mixed breed as well. Their worry only ensued as the silence continued. Rocky laid on the gas, not letting up as he kept watch behind him. His heart felt like it was about to jump out of his chest. He looked back and forth, searching for where the ghost pirate might jump out next, with Katie searching as well, despite her being short on breath from screaming. The ruby red moon that seemed to follow them looked as if it was taunting them. He rushed past City Hall, still keeping eyes peeled behind him. As he looked back to the front, Bloodbeard stood in his path once more. Yeah! He screamed, once again swerving around the ghost pirate. This time, however, the speed and force of the swerve caused the recycling truck to flip over. Katie screamed as the motions threw her off the truck before the side of it slammed onto the road, creating a loud screeching noise. Rocky's truck, still skidding on its side, crashed into a streetlight pole. The impact knocked him unconscious. Marshall was flying down the road in his EMT truck. His eyes may have been fixed on the road, but his mind was in an entirely different location. He was supposed to be with Chase right now. Not that he had a problem with Zuma or anything. It's just that if he had to die, he would rather it be by Chase's side. Instead, Sky would be the one by Chase's side and under his protection. Marshall knew exactly what Chase wanted to talk to her about, and he couldn't help feeling a little hurt at the fact that Chase switched him out. Ryder told Chase to pair up with him. Chase had never undermined Ryder's orders before. But now here he was, undermining orders just to be with Sky. Thinking of this caused Marshall to let out a huge sigh. Marshall, you okay, dude? Marshall was knocked out of his thoughts by the chocolate lab driving up beside him. Yeah, Marshall replied. I was just kind of lost in thought there. I hear ya. I can't stop thinking about Walkie, Zuma said, the worry clear in his eyes. I'm worried about everyone, said Marshall. We don't know what happened to Rocky. We don't know what happened to Ryder. We don't even know what's going to happen to us. Losing Rubble was hard enough, and I just don't know how much more of this I can take. Zuma just stared sadly at the Dalmatian. Marshall wasn't the only one feeling this way. They all felt the same. The walls were closing in, sealing off all hope that might have been shining through the crevices. This nightmare night was taking its toll. I know what you mean. We didn't do anything wrong. We don't deserve this. Any of this, Zuma answered. The drive to Captain Turbot seemed to go on forever. The two couldn't help but wonder how the others were doing. Sky sat outside of the porter's house, watching the crows. The black bird seemed to stare at the cockapoo in an eerie fashion. Sky started to feel slightly uneasy as more crows began to gather and land atop the porter's house. Even though these birds weren't eagles, she still got that certain shiver from them. On top of being creepy, they were still bigger than her. She moved a shaky paw to tap her pup tag. Chase? Have you found them yet? She asked.
No, not yet,
replied the shepherd, searching the house. He looked from side to side.
My goggles picked up 2 heat signatures, but now that I'm in the house, I can't seem to see them anymore.
He sighed.
Not only that, but I can't seem to focus. I keep thinking about what might have happened to Rocky. I just wish there was a way to see where he is.
An idea suddenly came to Chase's mind.
That's it. Sky, use my drone. Launch it and tell it to find Rocky.
Chase told her through his pup tag.
You should be able to see everything the drone sees on the monitor.
Sky nodded, and she quickly ran back to Chase's spy cruiser. She looked confused at all the various buttons on the control panel. Okay, now how do you work this thing? She said to herself. She's seen Chase work it a few times, but not enough times to have it completely memorized. She tapped a few random buttons, and the holder for the drone extended from the top of the vehicle. Nailed it, she said triumphantly. Arf! Deploy drone, launch, she commanded. The drone shot out from the holder and began to soar in the air, flying in circles. Sky, watching this, tilted her head a little confused. Why isn't it going anywhere? She stared at it for a few more seconds before she mentally smacked herself. Oh, that's right, she muttered out. She remembered that she had to give the drone a command after it's launched. Find Rocky, she yelled into the air. The drone registered the command and quickly took off into the distance. Sky turned her attention back to the monitor on the back of Chase's vehicle. She watched the view through the surveillance of the drone, looking for any sign or sight of her friend. Back inside the porter's house, Chase was sniffing around the hallways until he picked up a familiar scent. This is Alex's scent, he said to himself. He followed the scent through the hallway until he came to a hatch embedded into the floor. Chase opened the hatch to find stairs that led to some kind of dark basement. He winced as the smell of burning flesh filled his nose. This doesn't seem like a good sign, he said, walking down the stairs. Their scent is strong down here. Were they trying to hide? Chase stepped onto the basement floor and saw a furnace against the wall. He continued to sniff the floor, looking for clues. But the floor was so dusty that he immediately started sneezing. His nose led him to the furnace, where the smell of burning flesh, along with the scent of the porters, was the strongest. Chase got a bad feeling in his stomach as he walked closer to the furnace. He sniffed near the flames, and his eyes became wide. He looked around the basement for anything that he could fill with water. He grabbed a nearby pail atop a dusty table and ran to the nearest source of water to fill it up. After doing so, he ran back into the basement and up to the furnace. He doused the water into the furnace, and the large flames sizzled out, making smoke cover the room. Chase covered his muzzle with his arm and let out a few coughs. When the smoke began to clear, he walked back up to the furnace and peered inside. It was just as he feared. The furnace was littered with extremely burned and severed limbs, limbs that carried the scent of both Alex and Mr. Porter. Chase removed his spy helmet and bowed his head, giving the two a moment of silence. In Chase's mind, Alex was always somewhat annoying, but he didn't hate him, and he certainly wouldn't wish this on him. Alex looked up to them after all. Mr. Porter was very loved by all the pups. He never failed to give them treats, fruits, or desserts every now and then, and was such a kind and gentle man. How am I going to tell Sky that we were too late? How am I going to tell the others that we failed? Sky continued to watch the drone monitor. She could still feel the beady eyes of the crows watching her. The monitor started to get fuzzier and fuzzier. "That's not supposed to happen," she said to herself. It wasn't long before the drone's view completely faded from the monitor. Suddenly, Sky's ears picked up the sound of flapping close by. When she turned her head to look, she saw the crows that were previously watching her take flight into the air, circling just above her. She began to feel even more uneasy as countless more groups of crows joined in. The pitch black birds swarmed above her like a tornado preparing to touch down. There were so many of them. The sound of heavy breathing reached her ears, and she turned around to look behind her. She looked at the monitor in shock as it blinked back and forth from static to an image of Bloodbeard.
"Those who gaze at the moons I pass shall soon find that night to be their last."
Sky immediately took off running after hearing the voice. The large flock of crows proceeded to pursue her. "Chase! They're after me! I need help!" Sky yelled through her pup tag.
What's happening? Who's after you?
Chase asked, the worry clear in his voice. "It's the crows! They're chasing me! I heard the voice and saw the ghost!" Before she could even finish the sentence, Chase dropped his helmet and was already dashing back up the basement stairs and through the dark hallways on his way to the exit. "No, please, not her," he thought to himself. "Faster, I need to go faster." He thrusted his legs out, picking up speed. Sky was running as fast as her little legs would take her. She tried her hardest not to look back. But when she did, 4 crows swooped down from the flock above her and lashed onto her ears with their beaks. They yanked her high into the sky while she screamed. They took her higher and higher. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free from their strong beaks. She watched as the ground had continued to shrink. "Where are you taking me?" she asked them. The answer that she demanded was not given. As the crows soared high above the clouds, they released the cockapoo, and she began plummeting to the ground at a fast rate. She continued to scream. Chase, who had just made it out the front door, watched in horror as she fell from the sky a distance away from him. He sprinted in her direction as quickly as he could. Please make it, he repeated. Sky could only watch as the ground grew closer. "Arf! Net!" Chase shot out his net towards Sky. Horror had filled him as Sky hit the ground before the net could catch her. "No!" Chase cried out, stopping in his tracks. Sky grunted as pain coursed through her entire body. She felt as though she had broken a few bones. The crows then swooped down in a tornado and surrounded Sky, assaulting her. They continuously pecked at her, accidentally pecking her pup tag, activating it. All the others could now hear her screams through their pup tags. A crow plucked out her eye, while another nipped off her nose. Numerous flocks of crows pecked and pulled off every part of the paying cockapoo. Chase rushed over towards her, tears filling his eyes. "No! Not her! Not her!" he kept yelling. He rushed into the swarm, biting, kicking, and smacking any bird in sight while he tried to reach the cockapoo. The birds attacked on the female didn't waver, nor did they turn their attention to Chase or attack him. Chase wasn't giving up. He continued to inch his way through the swarm. He could no longer see Sky. The only thing in sight was a bundle of crows, flapping and pecking their prey. The flock slowly calmed, and they began to cease their attacks on the female. Chase ran to the remaining flock that covered where Sky was, and released his fury on them, biting, stomping, and pummeling them fiercely. The other crows saw this, and scattered away into the sky in panic. Chase looked in front of him, and stood shivering.
Sky? Was that you screaming? Is everything alright?
Marshall's voice rang from her pup tag.
Sky? Sky, are you there?
The dolly received no answer.
Chase, are you there?
Zuma asked the shepherd as Chase's tag lit up.
Chase, did something happen? Dude, come on, answer me!
He pleaded, yet he still received silence. Chase just stared as if he was put in a trance. He stared at Sky's bloody collar. He stared at her flashing pup tag. He stared at her scattered fur and ripped aviator cap. He stared at her no longer visible body. All that remained were her goggles and tiny pieces of flesh. He didn't cry. He didn't whimper. He didn't cringe. He just stared, broken and numb, to the world around him.